What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Almost Functional. Here today to go over the Chaos Space Marine Codex. Got Nick Herding here, our Chaos Space Marine expert. What's up, Nick?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is June 11th. So we've had this codex out for about 2 weeks now. We've got a little bit of data, and for all the chaos lovers out there, it's definitely going to be a good time. There's lots of good stuff in here to go over.
Yeah. All right. So, you got anything you want to say before we jump into it, or any thoughts? Or
Yeah, some of the intro stuff. This has there's 8 detachments in here,
oh wow,
and then we've basically got we've got them representing each of the legions. So you've got your Night Lords is now called the Dread Talons, for example. You got your Iron Warriors is now called the Fellhammer Siege-Host, and so on. So you've got all the ones you'd expect. Red Corsairs. So the ones that are gone or absent from this book are Emperor's Children. They have an index only with 2 data sheets right now, and Emperor's Children it appears that they're going to be coming into their own in the next year. They'll get their own codex. So Emperor's Children actually have been defined as their own faction now as well, but they're not going to be present in this book.
Gotcha.
Another thing is that there's no more Creations of Bio. Fabius Bio is still around, and he's pretty good, but Creations of Bio is no longer a thing.
Oh, I know you really liked that one.
Yeah, I played that one a lot, but it's okay. They've done pretty well with this book. They have a lot of 8 attachments, gives a lot of variety.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then they've got 2 new ones as well. So they brought back the it used to be called Cogs of Ashtor. So the Demon Engine centric detachment has been brought back now. So basically Cogs of Ashtor, Demon Engines, and then the other one that they brought in is the Cultist detachment. So the cultist one is not very good, but we'll cover it anyway.
All right.
So yeah, this book is I wouldn't say the power level is I wouldn't say it's crazy, but there's a lot to digest, and there's a lot of diverse options, and I think they do a good job overall representing CSM, similar to how they did with the Space Marine Codex. They did a good job covering all the different chapters.
That's good. And Space Marines have done well, so this is around the same power level. I would think you can be fairly successful with it.
Yeah, correct. And a lot of it didn't change. Some of the data sheets didn't change at all. There's been some minor adjustments to the data sheets. I believe the points went down. We already have all the data for that. So yeah, the points on some of these units went down, such as Accursed Cultist. And then we've also got some changes that were rolled over from because they had a bunch of nerfs that came down in January. So a lot of that stuff has carried over into this book as well.
Nice.
So getting into the some of the stuff here, your army ability for Chaos Space Marines is Dark Pact. So whenever any unit in your army is selected to shoot or fight, you can choose to make a Dark Pact. If it doesn't, just make a leadership test before any effects of the Dark Pact are resolved. If that test is failed, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, and then you can select either lethal or sustained.
And you get these even if you fail the test. You just take mortals, but you still get the ability.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's good.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a change from the index. In the index, it did the same thing, but you would take the damage after the attack sequence, and now you specifically take the damage before the attack sequence.
And then we just had these 2 options before, or was there a third one in the?
It was just lethal or sustained. Yep.
All right, cool. I couldn't remember. I thought there might have been a third, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so this is really good. This is especially good if the unit that you're using that packed on has an icon. But generally, lethal and sustained are strong enough. This is I would say this is one of the stronger army rules that exist in the game overall. Just because it's always good and it lets you pick. You're picking an ability that's tailored based on what you're attacking.
Well, yeah, it's relevant. Like you playing GSC, well, you take sustained hits. You're playing Knights, you take lethal hits. Yeah, it lets you, without changing your list, tailor into what you're fighting.
Yeah, and having access to lethal is very good for CSM because CSM definitely emphasizes a lot of damage, but sustained can increase your volume of attacks, and then lethal is going to be into maybe your toughness 9, toughness 10 type stuff, monsters,
Yep,
vehicles.
absolutely.
So yeah, this is really just generically good. Um, I
All
would
right.
say the only thing you have to watch out for here is if you have if you have models or units that have 3 or less wounds left remaining, you may actually just not opt to Dark Pact at all because there
Oh,
is a real risk that you could kill yourself before attacks happen.
gotcha. All right, and then Cults of the Gods. So you can take Berserkers, Plague Marines, Rubric Marines, and Noise Marines. They just lose their faction-specific keyword and gain Heretic Astartes.
Hmm hmm
And you're
Yeah. So
limited to, at 2,000 points, you're limited to 500 points of them. So a quarter of your army.
yep, and I like this rule. It doesn't give them Dark Pacts, which is fine because they already honestly these units already have pretty good rules. If we just look at what it offers real quick, Plague Marines have like their toughness 5. They have all these special weapons. They have flamethrowers and stuff like that. They're just generically pretty good. Battle. These are all battle line options. Actually, sorry, Noise Marines are not battle line, but the other ones are because their book is already out. So we're just waiting. We're waiting on that. See how it's actually referencing the Emperor's Children book that doesn't exist.
Gotcha.
It just exists now as an index, but we should have that book pretty soon. So
Yeah, and they
uh,
will be most likely battle line in the Emperor's Children book.
of course, yeah, and some of the interactions here with this, generally these units are not seen very often. Part of the reason why is you pay a premium for these. They're a little bit. These are
Hmm.
kind of like your premium battle lines, and then Corn Berserkers are not. They don't do more damage than Legionnaires, and Legionnaires are 20 points cheaper. So generally, you will not see Corn Berserkers.
And
Um,
they give up the Dark Pacts. So they're more expensive and you don't Dark Pact.
Correct, yeah, and the Corn Berserker ability is Blood Surge, but they're not going to benefit from any of those World Leaders abilities like they normally would. So yeah, Corn Berserkers I think will not see play because Legionnaires are flat out better. Rubric Marines could see play. Unfortunately, some of the stuff in this book that would benefit them actually excludes them. There's certain things that exclude Zinch units that make it so they're not so good. Because the Rubric Marine unit is typically it's a shooting unit. Usually Warp Flamers is what they have. Um, it is a good unit for the points. I think it's 105 for 5 rubrics.
Hmm.
But once again, you're not benefiting from a lot of the Thousand Suns double move and +1 to wound and all these other things. So rubrics, I think, have their place, and then Plague Marines definitely have their place because you can take a squad with flamethrowers and heavy weapons like Power Fists, and they're pretty decent. There's ways to kind of make them good, and they're not that expensive. I think 5 Plague Marines is the same as Legionnaires. Um, so they compare not as good as I would say they're not as good as Legionnaires, but they're close. They're close enough.
And they form a little bit of a different role.
Right? Yeah, because they're a little bit tankier. They get an improvement to battle shock, which doesn't really matter, but their weaponry is better. Like each Plague Marine has better weapons than like one Legionnaire, for example.
So they're most likely be the one you most likely see in list is Plague Marines if someone's going to take from this list.
Yeah, I think Plague Marines are actually pretty good. Um, yeah, Plague Marines probably the most likely. Noise Marines are at this point just a CSM unit. They're pretty cheap too. I think they're maybe 85 points for 5. They have a Blastmaster. They have a like a Siren in there, which is like a heavy flamer. And then they have usually it takes Sonic Blasters. So I think they come with I think they have 4 Sonic Blasters. So it's a decent shooting unit. Um, their ability is like when they shoot the enemy, they'll force them to take Battle Shock after
Hmm.
the shooting attack is resolved. Um, and then they have a Power Fist. So they're not exactly what you want in CSM. Once again, aren't Noise Marines aren't as good as Legionnaires, but they're just a regular kind of shooting unit that you can take.
All right.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah, so now we're going to roll into the attachments. The first one is Veterans of the Long War.
Yep, here we go.
And I see here that attachment rule is Focus of Hatred. Start of your command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army to be your Focus of Hatred. Till start of the next command phase, each time a Heretic Astartes model from your army, excluding damned models, makes an attack that targets your Focus of Hatred, you can roll a hit roll. So this is just like Oath of the Moment, basically.
Yes, yeah, this is exactly copy paste Oath of Moment, and
All right.
the theme for this detachment. So this is based on Black Legion,
Yep.
um, and the way that they've kind of incorporated this, the concept of it is that it's kind of a copy paste of like a kind of like Gladius sort of thing.
Yep.
Um, Unfortunately, it doesn't get the doctrines or anything, but this is the one. This would be the detachment that's most similar to playing regular loyalist Space Marines.
Yeah, so basically, Space Marines get in Gladius, they get Oath of the Moment, and I just forgot what they were called. Well, you just said it.
The doctrines.
Doctrines, yep. And then in the Veterans of Long War, though, you get Focus of Hatred, so basically Oath of the Moment, but then you get the Dark Pacts, which,
Correct. Yeah, and
depending on the
that's
situation, it's almost better than Doctrines.
it's a strong interaction too, because rerolling hits is in a lot of situations maybe Chaos doesn't have it.
Oh yeah,
And
rerolling
that
with sustained and lethal, either one. Yeah, so you're almost doubling your output from those.
right. So yeah, looking at some of the enhancements here. Um, Warmaster's Gift, Chaos Lord model only. Each time the bear makes attack that targets your focus of hatred, successful wound scores a critical wound. It's fine. It's good if they have the once per game dev wounds, or they have the hammer with the dev wounds.
Well, and that also stacks into Dark Pacts.
Packs are going to be critical hits, not critical wounds.
Oh, that's critical one. Yeah, never mind.
Critical wound. Yeah,
Because
critical
yeah,
wound
yeah,
will.
you're right. You're right.
It'll work for dev. It'll work on dev wounds though on a Chaos Lord. So
Yeah, so if you
this
give them a weapon that does dev wounds, I don't know if they have access to like Thunder Hammers or anything like that. Like
they do the Chaos Lord is the only thing. Yeah, he'll have a Thunder Hammer.
yeah, so yeah, give them fun with dev wounds, and yeah, that's a third of your wounds are going to be devastating. That's pretty dang good.
Yep. Eager for Vengeance.
Yeah.
Heretic Astartes model. So anything including Damned. Bear's unit is eligible to shoot and declare charge in a turn in which it fell back. That's pretty good. It's like tactical doctrine. While doing so, each time a unit makes an attack that targets your focus of hatred, add +1 to the hit roll. And then each time you select your focus of hatred as the target of a unit's charge, add +1 to the charge. So +1 to hit, +1 to charge. This is actually pretty good.
Yep.
This is going to benefit. Well, it's a little bit redundant with a chosen unit, but still good. Chosen unit, maybe a Terminator unit, something like that. So this is like a big brick.
Yeah. Am I reading this right? That the +1 to hit is only if you fell back?
While doing so.
Yeah, both the +1s are only if when you
That's a
fall
good.
back.
That's a good question. It does say while doing so.
Yeah, yeah, it's not. And you get these. It's while you're doing this. So I would think that's limited to when you fall back. You get +1 to hit and +1 to charge.
Yeah, because shoot and charge. So yeah, I would agree that because it says while doing so, then it's contingent. So you have to fall back. So maybe not as good as we thought, but still useful.
Yeah,
It's gonna
depending if you put it on a real survivable unit that's you're sticking in the middle of the table, you might get to use this once or twice a game, but you're not +1 to hit all the time against your oath target.
Yeah, and this is pretty cute. Because I mean, it's got a little bit. It's like a little bit like a Space Marines, like a Stormlands fall
Yep.
back and charge, or a Gladius fall back shoot and charge.
Yeah, it's a good option to have, depending on how many points it is.
Mhm.
Then we got a Eye of Abaddon, Heretic Astartes model only, excluding damned models. All these enhancements don't work on the damned models, it looks like. So while the bearer is on the battlefield, each time your focus of hatred is destroyed, roll 1d6. On a 4+, you gain 1 CP. Oh, that could be useful. So 50% of the time when you kill your hatred target, you can gain a CP.
It's decent. I think it might be. I think you maybe take this if you don't take Abaddon.
Yep.
So because generally, like as Space Marine players know, the Oath of Moment target dies all the time. It's
Oh,
often
yeah.
if there's one thing that's going to die, it's going to be that. So
Well, because, yeah,
so,
you put it on the thing you need to kill that turn.
yeah, so it's overall pretty good.
Yep. Then we got a Mark of Legend, Heretic Astartes model only, excluding damned. Once per turn, you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 saving throw made for the bearer. So that'd be good on like a bigger model, something that's got like big shots or something. They're shooting like a bolter or something. It's not as.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe on a Demon Prince.
That's to say,
To
yeah, the save would be good on something that's running by itself and doesn't have a bodyguard.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Some of the characters that can actually hold these enhancements are not very great. Like Demon Princes are, they're just like really average right now.
Are they?
So it's kind of give or take.
Gotcha.
All right, and then all right. So getting some of the stratagems here.
Yep.
I think you've got this one right here is this is copy paste Armor of Contempt. You just can't use it on damned units. So no, damned is the cultists. So
What's that? Well, contemptuous for disregard.
contempt. Yeah, contemptuous disregard is just armor of contempt.
Gotcha. And right before that, we got endless ire. Any phase just after your focus hatred is destroyed, one character from your army. Select one enemy unit within 12 invisible to unit until the start of your next command phase. That unit is considered to be the focus. So you can move the focus of hatred if you kill something for 2 CP.
Yeah, two CP seems like a lot. I like moving the focus of hatred.
Yep.
But this is situational.
Yeah, this is you're not going to do it every turn. You're going to do it in a key point of the game.
Yeah,
for 2 CP.
There is
1
another.
CP, you might do it almost every turn.
Yeah, I don't know really why they made this cost 2. It seems a little overpointed.
I think they don't want you using it 4 times a game.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I haven't played this detachment yet. It does seem very playable.
It seems very balanced.
It does, yeah. It seems even more balanced than some of the other stronger detachments.
Yeah, this is your take all comer, not good against anything, but kind of okay against everything.
It definitely is, yeah. And I would say this one falls like right in the middle of the pack, or in the middle of the pack. So this next stratagem here is also 2 CP, which is kind of weird, but this is very strong. Start of the fight. So Bringers of Despair, 2 CP, start of the fight phase. One heretic stars unit from your army that is within engagement range of your focus of hatred. So start, yeah, after charges and everything. Until the end of the phase, your unit has the fight's first ability. So if you were to use this on your turn, it doesn't really matter because you already have fights first. If you were to, so this has an effect using it, especially on your opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm.
If you get charged, and then so they charge you. It's a weird sequencing, right? Because it's only with the damned unit, or with the focus of hatred. So you have to select the focus of hatred on your turn, and then so maybe they have a big. I guess an example would be like a big squad of mega knobs, or any combat unit that wants to close in with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you put a unit out to give it fights first. So like let's say maybe it's Abaddon with Chosen, or Terminators with a Lord or something like that. You put the unit out, and then they can't charge you, or they won't, because you have fights first. Because chaos, everyone knows chaos hits really hard. So you're saying it does cost you 2 CP, but you can hold this, and then you just won't get charged. You can basically say like, this unit can't charge me. So this is actually very strong. It's a strong effect to have.
It makes them not want to charge the hatred target into something really good of yours.
Correct. Yeah. So this is a strong denial. Most likely this will never happen. It'll never, like, the effect will never actually get used, but the threat of it is what's good.
But yeah, if they know you have 2 CP sitting there, they might not even charge you.
Right, and this is just a better interrupt, and it's conditional, but this is like a much stronger version of an interrupt.
And it's Epic Deed, right? Because only battle tactic can be done for free by like the character things, right?
It is, yeah. I wish this was a battle tactic, but
if this is a battle tactic, I would say that would have been solid, but
yeah, it would be very scary with like Chaos Lord with Chosen.
Yeah.
Or even Legionnaires actually would be pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so next up we got Black Crusade. 1 CP in your movement phase. 1 heretic starts infantry or mounted unit from your army. Until the end of the turn, your unit is able to shoot at a turn in which it advanced or fell back. And bolt pistols, bolt guns, combi bolters equipped by models in your unit have the devastating wounds ability, while your unit has not already inflicted 6 wounds this turn using this ability. So I guess that's saying you're limited to 6 dev wounds. But lets you advance or fall back and still shoot, and then your bolters, all your bolt weapons get devastating wounds. For 1 CP, that's not bad.
Yeah, it is infantry or mounted only. So and then Chaos maybe doesn't play a lot of infantry. Or sorry, a lot of shooting infantry. So Chaos is generally going to be focused more on the combat infantry. And then when you look at what it actually buffs, what's it? Bolt pistols, bolt guns, and combi bolters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe Terminators, but Terminators are also using combi weapons, which already have dev wounds.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit Terminator specific.
I don't know. You got a 10-man Marine squad with bolters. It's what, 20 shots looking for dev wounds for 1 CP.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. And having the dev wounds is nice, but
I think the dev wound is what makes it nice.
Right, but part of the issue here is that like we don't really have a way to have we don't have a way to have reroll wounds in shooting. So you just have to you just get stuck with what you get stuck with, and then bolters in chaos. These weapons are just not very good. Bolt pistols, bolt guns, and combi bolters are just not. They're not great. They don't
Yeah,
really do.
but you pack them for sustained hits on your hatred target. That's 10 shots, reroll it all misses. I mean, you're gonna get like, or sorry, 20 shots reroll all misses. You're gonna get like 18, 19 hits. So you're gonna do 3 or 4 mortal wounds right there, or dev wounds.
Oh yeah, like you'll have a lot of hits, right? Because you have the oath of
Mhm.
moment with sustain, but the wounding is where I don't know. The wounding it doesn't really combo very as well as you'd like.
I don't know. If you told me, hey, you're gonna get 3 to 4 dev wounds for 1 CP against certain things, I'd pay it every time.
Yeah, maybe if you have the right unit for it, which is
Right? Yeah, I'm not saying you use it every time, but I'm saying I think there's situations this will be real nice.
maybe the ideal unit for this would be like 10 Terminators. Um,
Yep.
but I don't know. Terminators they're okay. They're not great. Um,
That
so
almost makes me want to take a unit of bikes.
the bikes are good actually. Yeah. Yeah. No
Fast,
problem.
tough, bolters on them, like fallback or
Yeah.
advance. You can even advance into it because bikes auto advance. Go 20 inches and pop some dev wounds for free on something.
Yeah. The bikes are actually very cheap too because you can get 6 bikes for 140, and the bikes are a good deal. Um,
Yeah, and the bikes are
well,
what, 2 shots each now.
yeah. I think yeah. I think they have combi bolters, maybe rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid.
2 shots with rapid fire. I think.
Yeah, and the combi bolters. What are they? Lethal hits now, not reroll wounds. They got something now that's. They used to get the
They're
reroll
they're
wounds.
just bolters. They're just bolters.
There's bolters now. All
So
right.
yeah, they're just unfortunately they're AP0, but
Yeah,
um,
but yeah, you hope you get a couple devs in there. But yeah, it's okay. It's not the greatest thing ever.
it's a
But
decent volume of fire. Like because I think you can have like a storm bolter and then like three combi bolters, which is the same thing. So you
yeah,
could have like 7 times 4 shots. But anyway, let's not spend too much time on that one.
yeah.
So the next one is Let the Galaxy Burn. Shooting phase 1 Heritage Construction unit that has not been selected to shoot until the end phase. Ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have ignores cover, and then change the attack characteristics of torrent weapons um, in your unit to 6. So this is any Heretic Astartes. So this could work, for example, on a like a Helldrake, which is an
Hmm.
aircraft. Uh, Chaos doesn't have a ton of torrent weapons. The notable torrent weapon that you might have is you could have a Hellbrute with a double heavy flamer, um, which is decent. You get maybe up to 12 attacks on the heavy flamer. It already ignores cover though, so it's a little bit redundant. Um, Another one. Oh yeah, and this is also 1 CP ignores cover.
Yep.
So even if you don't have, so this is actually Storm of Fire from Gladius. So once again, you've got that kind of like Space Marine callback.
Yep. With an added bonus for torrent, but yeah, you don't necessarily even need torrent to make it useful.
Yeah, and it's so something that they've done here is it's this specifically excludes Zinch units. So that would be like the only thing that's
Rubrics.
yeah, it's rubrics, yeah. So you can't use this on rubrics. Rubrics, as you guys know, is a squad of 10 warp flamers. So this would be using this on your rubric squad would give you for 1 CP would give you 60 attacks. You wouldn't even have to roll. So yeah, so they preemptively kind of nerf that. So yeah, it'll never happen. I think the best you can do is you can take a Plague Marine squad with a 10-man, 2 Belchers, and 2 Spewers, and that would give you 24 on the Plague Flamers. They're basically think of it as like a light Plague Flamer and a heavy Plague Flamer.
And then all their other weapons will still get to ignore cover. So that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, they have a couple other. They have plasma in there as well, and I think they have a
Yep.
blight launcher. So yeah,
Yep.
this is fine on Plague Marines. I don't know if I would use this really on anything else, but it's good for Plague Marines. Um,
And then we got Millennia of Expertise, or Millennia of Experience. Opponent's movement phase just after when the unit ends a normal advance or fallback. 1 infantry or mounted unit within 9 can make a normal move up to 6 inches if they're not within engagement range. Yes, another thing that you see in some of the Marine detachments, just a lot of armies are having that right now. You move too close, they get a free little move, which there's lots of cool little plays you can. That comes in useful a lot, honestly.
Yeah, and I like this quite a bit. I use this is once again going back to Gladius. Gladius has this. It's a D6 reaction move.
Yep.
And then if you're in Tactical Doctrine, it's flat 6. So this is
Yep.
the thing I like about this. This is a better version of the same strat.
Yep. Because it's
So
always
so
6.
so
Yep.
maybe if there's one thing in here that CSM did better, well they copy and pasted the Armor of Contempt. Storm of Fire it's a slightly worse version of Storm of Fire, but then the Money of Experience is a better reaction move than what Space Marines have. So it's good
Yep.
when it's good. When it's good, it's good. You can reaction move your bike units or any of your Terminators chosen, anything like that.
All right. And then, all right. So the next one looks like we have Deceptors. I would guess just off the name, that's Alpha Legion.
Yep.
All right. So they have Master of Misdirection as their detachment role. In the Declare Battle Formation step, you can select a number of Legionnaire and Cultist mob units from your army. Till end of the battle, those units and any character units attached to them, excluding epic heroes, have the Infiltrator's ability. The maximum number of units you can select in this way on the battlefield is shown below. So you can do up to 3 units. You can give up to 3 units infiltrate at 2,000 points.
That's right. Yep. And see, Chaos is known for not having any infiltrators except for Nurglings.
Yep.
So I believe this playing this detachment is one of the only ways to get infiltrating units. Um, it's unfortunate that they locked it to Cultist Mob and Legionnaires, because those are just those are the most generic battle line units.
Hmm.
Um, I guess my opinion on this is a good ability. It's tricky. It's tricky, but there's also ways in here where you kind of like trick yourself, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
we'll get into it because for example, if you were to see this ability and go and say, hey, I'm going to put 30 Legionnaires and then 3x20 cultists with attachments all on the line, like all in the infiltrate. You're going to lose like about half your army will probably get picked up very very quickly because none of these cultists and these Legionnaires are just not durable, and there's no way to make them durable, unfortunately.
Now,
Um,
I'd just take 3 minimum units of Legionnaires and just use them to screen out other people's infiltrates to get some early deploy teleport home. Just some cheap little secondary stuff. Just use them as trash.
yeah, there's a good amount of variety here, because this is kind of like, it's tricky, right? So you have the infiltrate, you have the counter infiltrate and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I think the way that I would like to approach this, from in theory at least, I haven't played this attachment yet, is I would like to take big cultist mob units because they're so cheap. I think 20 cultists is 100 points, so
Oh wow.
maybe take 3x20 cultists or 2x20, and then like just make a big wall and then move block with all the cultists because it's 60 wounds and it doesn't really cost you that many points.
Yep.
And then you have a lot of the other components of the army might be, they're going to be further back. They're not going to be infiltrated, so it's just going to be those cultists like creating a big old move block. Um,
Nice.
all right. So looking at some of the enhancements here, these are probably some of the most complicated ones. So I'll try not to get overly wordy about this, but Chaos Lord model, you can uh, falsehood, you can set them up in reserves. This is where it gets weird. Basically, I'm not going to read all of this, but basically what happens is in your movement phase, you can select a legionnaire chosen unit on the battlefield that has no characters attached to it already, which is weird. And then you instantly will kill one of your models. So a legionnaire is a what is it, 18, I think it's an 18 point model, or no, it's sorry. A legionnaire is a 16-point model, and then a chosen is like a 25-point model.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, you have to like pay that tax of killing one of your own guys, and then you also have to pay, I think, 5 or 10 points for this enhancement. So it ends up being a little bit expensive, but basically you just like your guy just comes in. So you replace one of the models in the unit with that character, which can only be a Chaos Lord.
Yeah. So
Uh,
if you have multiple units the same, you can basically show up on different sides of the board where you're needed. It's. I mean, fluff wise, it fits in well with Alpha Legion. I just don't know.
Yeah, this is just not great. I can't think
Yeah.
of any like situation where because you actually have to kill your own models and pay extra for the enhancement, and the enhancement doesn't help you in any other way aside from just showing up. So I think this might be an example. He's one of the ones where it's like, oh, you played yourself because it
Yeah. And
doesn't. The value isn't really there.
he doesn't have. It can't be a Terminator or a jump X. So it's just a generic Lord, like for the
Yeah, because
most
it
part.
it really raises the question of like, well, if this can't affect units that are already attached, like wouldn't you be better off just not taking the enhancement and just starting the game with the attached character already?
Yep.
Because you're basically paying points for, in a way, you're paying points for nothing. Um,
Absolutely.
So
All right. The next up we have Cursed Fang. Character starts infantry model only. Improve the AP of the bearer's melee weapons by 1, and they get precision. That's okay. Not great. +1 AP and precision, depending on who you put it on.
it's decent against orcs. I mean, this isn't the worst thing in the world.
No. Depending on how many points it is, I don't know if I buy it though.
Yeah, it's kind of a eh.
Yeah.
Shroud of Obfuscation, once again, infantry only. The bearer has the stealth and lone up abilities. I would have liked to see this like affect a whole unit, and
Yep.
it doesn't. It's just one model, and I don't think there's not any like good targets I can think of for this. Because the CSM characters are all kind of like they're either damage oriented or like buff oriented, and just having it on one model it's not good enough. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think this sort of really has a place. Um, if you wanted a stealth or a lone operative character, I feel like instead of paying for this, you would just take like a which one call it? You would take a Cipher. Uh,
Mm,
and Cypher's just better. He's just better. He actually got buffed, so Cypher's actually pretty decent now.
nice. All right. So next up we got Soul Link. Character starts infantry model only. At the start of your command phase, select one other character starts infantry character model from your army, excluding epic heroes. Until the start of your next command phase, the bearer gains the Psyker keyword and replace the bearer's data sheet ability with the data sheet abilities of the character you selected. Do what?
So basically, how this works is in your command phase, you can copy the abilities from another Heretic Astartes infantry character. So the abilities
Oh,
would be like, for example, like a chaos lord has the free stratagem and the finest finest hour. I think it's called like it's basically +1 on everything when they swing.
yep.
So those
All right.
abilities can transfer onto another character. Um, but given that this is once again very generic-y, so it's like you have your Master of Executions, you have your Chaos Lord, you have your Sorcerer. There's not that many options of things that can actually hold this, and once again, it's you're paying points to like have this effect that you want on another character, and it's like, well, if you wanted that effect, why not just pay for the character that you wanted in the first place? So
Yeah.
it's I think there's a little bit of a like, oh, this is so like tricky, or this is so smart, but it can also be like, oh, you paid points for this and now you just like you played yourself sort of
Yeah. Yeah. So
thing.
far, the detachment rule and the enhancements have all been pretty underwhelming for this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that this is one of the stronger ones, but it is a little janky though, because when you think about 60, potentially 60 plus cultists just showing up and move blocking you turn one, it's funny. Um,
Yeah. But I think some people can go through them pretty quick.
yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, so looking at some of the stratagems here, I like these stratagems. I honestly think this is a pretty good package. Um, the one of the overarching issues here is that there's a lack of damage compared to other detachments. You don't have your oath of moment effect in here or your plus 1 to wound or anything.
Gotcha.
Um, so one of the really good stratagems here is this detonator. So this this is like their vehicle has been sabotaged, and when it gets basically deadly demise, excluding Titanic models, wah, wah. When it gets destroyed, you can target a character unit within 18, not visible, just within 18 of that enemy model that got destroyed, and then for 1 CP it automatically explodes and delivers mortal wounds.
Mm,
So 1 CP auto explode within 18 of any of your characters, and this is also any phase. So this actually has some like pretty cool implications for dealing damage. Um, Unfortunately, like this maybe leans into like into shooting a little bit more because usually you're not going to want to auto explode things in chaos when you're it's like hitting your own stuff that's in close combat.
yeah.
Um, but there are certain things like I know like there's a land raider, a land fortress. There's all these models that exist to have D6 explosion.
Yeah. Blow up
Um,
a knight.
yeah, it's pretty good against knights. This can be very good. This is a good combination with shooting, with like dealing damage from range. Maybe your predators and your Lord of Skulls, maybe stuff like that. Um, Chaos is not huge on range damage, but it still exists. So yeah, I really like the stratagem a lot. It has the ability to deal quite a bit of damage. It is situational, but we are in a vehicle and monster heavy meta right now, and I feel like this will consistently happen. I would imagine this would happen maybe once per game, if you play against Deceptors. So
Gotcha. And the next one is from all sides. In your charge phase, you select one heretic stars unit from your army, and they get +1 to charge rolls made for each other unit that made a charge, up to a max of 3. Not a big fan of this one. You got to make making a bunch of charges before this even matters. And you have to actually complete the charges because they have to have made a charge move, not just declared a charge. So you have to make 2 or 3 other successful charges before this is really even worth anything, I think.
This is good in combination with like deep striking and reserves, because you start off with a flat +1, and then and I think this just affects one unit that's trying to get, yeah. So you basically
Well,
set up some
you
kind of jank.
it doesn't give you +1. You get a +1 for each other unit that charged.
Well, yeah, but it gives you a flat +1.
Why?
Oh wait, no, it doesn't. My bad. Yeah, so maybe the way you would set this up is like you're charging your cultists into combat. So you maybe you charge, like, let's say you charge
Yeah.
2 or 3 cultists into combat to tie them up, and then
Mhm.
and then simultaneously you have a reserve unit or a deep strike unit that wants to charge, and then you can give them like a +2 or a +3.
Yep.
So it's okay, not great, but
Yeah.
has its uses.
Uh,
Um, pick them off. 1 CP your shooting phase. You can pick one Heretic Hussars unit that has not been selected to shoot. This is an unfortunate condition here. Until the end of the phase, each time a battle unit makes an attack that targets a model or unit that's below starting strength, you can reroll the hit roll, and then if they're below half strength, you can reroll the wound roll as well.
that's okay.
So yeah, rerolling hit rolls. It's any unit, so it could be, this could work on vehicles,
Yep.
cultists. Uh, Helps shooting a little bit. I mean, forward rolls.
Mhm.
Trying to think what the good target for this would be. I don't know. Maybe a Vindicator, maybe Lord of Skulls, something like that.
Yep.
There's not fantastic targets for this.
No. And then we got Coils of Deception. Your movement saves just after a Heretic, a strategy unit from your army falls back. That unit until the end of turn, they're eligible to shoot. So this just gives fallback and shoot.
That's it. Yep. And
That's it.
it works on, it's any unit fall back and shoot.
Yep.
Not bad.
Not bad. No, not as good as the one we saw in the other one, but that's still okay.
And then Relentless Pursuit. This is a reaction move. Once again, it looks like, yeah, opponent's movement phase. An infantry or mounted unit. It looks like this is actually exactly the same as the
Yep.
from the other one. So this is just a better version of the Space
The
Marine.
Marine one, yeah.
So it's a flat 6.
Then we got Scrambled Coordinates. Start of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. One Heretic unit from your army. Till end of phase, enemy units that are set up within the battlefield from reserves cannot be set up within 12. So basically, they get the Infiltrator ability from Space Marines.
Exactly, and there's a good interaction here is that this can be used on cultists. So actually, all of these stratagems can be used on cultists. So you can have a big old cultist unit.
Yeah.
It could be like up to 25 models if you factor in the Dark Commune,
Yeah.
and then giving them a,
So this is the best stratagem I've seen so far in there.
yeah. And this counters it counters 2 armies. It counters Grey
Yeah.
Knights and Chaos Demons who are trying to like do jank with their 3-inch deep strike ability.
Yeah.
It also counters like Space Marine Deceptors.
And that's where your infiltrating might come in big too. Infiltrate up, hiding in the middle of the board, really stop people from dropping in middle table.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is an interesting, like, unfortunately the damage is not really here in this attachment, but it does have the jank. It does have the shooting, some of the shooting plays, the fallback, the reaction move, the plus the charge out of reserve. So there is a KG sort of game you can set up.
Yeah.
And I think it leans into the shooting archetype
Mhm.
more than I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
I think Abaddon does pretty decent in here.
Yeah. Detonator and Scrambled Coordinates really like. Everything else in the attachment's just very bland, I think.
It is, and unfortunately, a lot of these stratagems are affecting, or 2 of these stratagems are affecting shooting, and Chaos is, at the end of the day, it really is a combat army.
Mhm.
And then the detonator has the unfortunate, effect of, um, unless you go super aggressive, that the detonator may start blowing up your own stuff,
Yep.
especially stuff that goes into close combat. So I think this one is difficult to play. I think the damage isn't there, and I think that these enhancements are pretty just garbage. I wish they should have like powered up these enhancements a little bit more. Um,
All right. Well, the next one we have is Renegade Raiders.
oh
Shows some
yeah,
corn guys here, but I know it's not World Eaters. So, what is this supposed to represent? A certain?
yes. So this is the one I want to spend more time on, because this is the strongest one in my opinion, and it's Red Corsairs.
Oh, Red Corsairs. Okay.
So Their detachment rule here is all ranged weapons in your army have assault. That's really good, similar to Firestorm. And then additionally, each time a model in your army makes an attack that targets a unit within range of an objective marker, add +1 AP.
Oh,
Once again, this is all attacks, shooting and melee, and it's all models in your army. Uh, so
that's
yeah,
really
this
strong, and that's really strong right now because everybody can do actions until the new cards come out and change that.
right. So yeah, so this one, everything in this detachment is good. I think every single thing is pretty useful. You'll see that a lot of it involves damage. So right off the rip, you've got extra AP, and Chaos already have good AP values.
Hmm.
There's actually a Terminator character that can increase AP like against it's like a reverse armor contempt where he can curse one thing to increase the AP. So there's a combinations here where you can get like AP 4 on certain weapons, which is very strong. Um, I have played this one before, and it was very powerful. So looking at some of the enhancements here, Despot's Claim. This is if you're Heretic Starsman only, if you're within 12 of your opponent's deployment zone, you roll a d6 in the command phase. On a 5-up, you gain a CP, sorry, and you get +1 if they're within 12 of the opponent's deployment zone.
Yeah, so you always get a chance for the 5-up, but within 12 of the enemy's deployment zone, you do it on a 4-up.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, gaining CP is always useful.
Yeah, I like that this exists because this detachment it has really good stratagems. It has the best set of 6 in the book. So you'll use this. This just flies through CP.
Nice.
You can actually do some jank plays where you spend like 3 CP on one unit to do all these movement shenanigans. Um,
All right.
the
Next
next
up, we
one,
got Dread Reaver.
yeah,
Heretic Stars Model only. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack, if the bearer is wholly within 12 of your opponent's deployment zone, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. So it looks like these are, wanting you to be very aggressive.
yep. So this is super good. It's good on a Demon Prince. It's good on a Chaos Lord, whatever.
Yeah, well, we roll full, if we roll hit and wound is good on almost anything, honestly.
Yeah. Mark of the Hound. This is actually extremely good. Heretic Astartes model only. This costs 25 points. Dread Reaver's 15, which is nice as well, but 25 for this. Models in the Bears unit have Scout 6. So that means you can scout a unit of Chosen, you can scout a unit of Legionnaires, you can scout Terminators, and then you could also have them embedded in a Rhino. And as long as only one unit's in there with this enhancement, then you can scout the Rhino as well.
Oh, that's really nice.
This is very strong.
All right, and we got the Tyrant's Lash, Heretic Stars Model only. You can reroll advanced rolls made for the Bears unit, and the Bears unit is able to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. If they have advance and charge, this is real nice. Oh, actually, everything in the army has assault weapons. So yeah, so that could be real useful.
Reroll the advance, yep, and then fall back and shoot. Yep. So this is I think this is maybe 10 points, so it is good for 10 points.
Oh, absolutely.
No problem.
Yeah, so far they got good enhancements, a good army roll, and you said these are the best stratagems in the book?
These these are the best stratagems in the book. There is Armor of Contempt right here. So this is a copy paste Armor of Contempt.
All right.
Unfailing. I don't know why they changed the names for all these things, but unfailingly obdurate. Literally just Armor of Contempt.
Okay.
Um,
Then we
you
got
know it, you love it.
Scour and Seize. Fight phase, one Heretic Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a unit within range of an objective marker, the attack has precision. Ooh, that makes you not want to put your characters on objectives if you're fighting this unit.
Yeah,
Actually, actually the character doesn't have to be on the objective, just his unit, right?
it's just the unit. Yeah, exactly.
So if they have a Terminator squad with a character, and as long as one of those Terminators is touching it, you can try to snipe the character.
Exactly, yeah, and sniping, especially in the Orc and Necron meta we're in right now, sniping characters is really good. This is super relevant.
GSC just got a good new book. They always have characters you want to get out of those units.
Yeah, I think it matters. This actually matters. It is situational, so a lot of these ability or stratagems for this detachment are gonna key off of a unit has to be on an objective marker.
But
So that's a
every single one of them is only 1 CP though.
correct. Yeah, these are all super good. So this next one is my favorite. This is my favorite stratagem in the whole book. It's called Opportunistic Raiders. So end of fight phase, either player's fight phase. one Heretic Stars unit that was eligible to fight. So that means either you made a charge or you were in combat and you were eligible at some point during
Hmm.
uh the phase. So at any point is actually good enough. If your unit is not within, so it has two parts. If your unit is not within engagement range of enemy units, you can make a normal move of up to 6. Or if you're a bike, Chaos Biker, or a there's only two models. It's only Chaos Biker and Lord Discordant. Then you can make a 12-inch move. Otherwise, so if your unit is within engagement range, you can just make a fallback move with no restriction.
Nice. That's
And then
pretty good.
it specifies you can't go back into a transport if you disembarked from a transport this turn. But yeah, this is
But
extremely
if you
good.
didn't, so you got out of the transport a turn before, someone else got out of the transport and you moved it over near them, you could run in, whack something, get hit, and after, I mean, the enemy gets to hit you back. Luckily, this is into fight phase, not into activation. But then you could
Yeah,
fall back into a vehicle so you can't get shot next turn if the enemy falls away from you.
right. This is so good. So
Yeah.
keep in mind, this is the end of the fight phase. So
Hmm.
like if you get charged, they're going to get to do all their attacks, and then if you survive, then you can use this, right? So
Hmm.
this doesn't happen in a way that would negate their attacks or anything like that.
Nope.
But what this does allow you to do is, if you really put on a lot of pressure and create a lot of ongoing close combats, you can start to cheese objectives, because you can fall back. This lets you fall back out of combat at the end of the fight phase, and your bikes, your legionnaires are all OC2 models, and this actually gives you a 12-inch fallback on your bikes. So if you charge your bikes into some junk and you're trying to get even further, you could
Yep.
charge your bikes in and then like just move another 12 after, and then you don't kill your target because bikes they're pretty average, and then you just move another 12 after, and this is already after you've moved and after you've charged. And there's
Yeah.
actually a way to the next this combos decently with the next stratagem here, which is warp charge engines. One CP movement phase, you can select a transport or mounted unit, and you just auto advance them 6 inches.
Well, you probably don't have to use that on bikes. I think bikes auto go 6 inches already, don't they?
Not anymore.
No, they lost that.
Yeah, the bikes used to. They actually changed what they do now. They're really cheap, and bikes are extremely good, especially in this detachment. But the bikes are now, when they charge, it's +1 strength. That's it.
That's crazy because bikes have had that forever. I'm surprised that
Yeah, and
went away.
unfortunately, the bikes don't outflank or outmaneuver anymore either. The Chaos bikes they used to go uppy downy where they'd go into strat reserve, but they don't have that anymore.
Right. So the Marines still do it. I was just checking that to make sure I wasn't wrong about that. But the Chaos lost the auto 6 inch.
Yeah, but yeah, this is really good.
Hmm.
Transport. So this can affect. There's only really, I think, 4 units that this can affect, which is it's Rhino, Land Raider, Chaos Biker, and Lord Discordant, and that's it. So there's no it hits a very small subset of models, but you are going to play Rhinos in this detachment. So
Yeah.
the next one is Ruinous Raid. Shooting or fight phase, one Heretic Stars unit that disembarked from a transport this turn. Until the end of phase, each time your unit makes an attack that targets an enemy within range of an objective marker, you reroll all hits and all wounds.
Oh,
So yeah, this is actually nuts.
yeah, that's really good.
It is a double. So this is very, very strong. It reminds me of the old strat where it was just 1 TP for Chaos Undivided, reroll everything. It is, however, it does the same effect, but it's not as good because it has two conditions. So it's important. It's important, and it's easy to forget that, like, the conditions here. So it has to have disembarked this turn.
Hmm.
It also has to whatever unit that you're targeting that's getting the rerolls. Um, the attack that you're making only gets the rerolls if your target is within range of the objective marker. So there is a potential, like, of the opponent just not putting their, like, good units touching the objective at all. There's ways to play they can be played into.
Nice.
So very strong, but still conditional.
Yeah. And the last one is Reaver's Haste. Your charge phase, one infantry or mounted unit. At the end of the phase, your unit is also declare charges in the turn in which it advanced. If you select one or more units within range of an objective marker as the target of the charge, you get +1 to charge roll. So it gives you advance and charge with the option of +1 to the advance, or +1 to the charge.
Yeah, and I love this. This is really good.
Oh yeah.
Advance and charge is one of my favorite rules. So just having access to this, and then you can actually combo this with the mounted. You can have a bike unit go. You auto advance 18 for 1 CP, and then you can
Yeah.
also advance a charge maybe with a +1.
Well, yeah, this
And then,
lets you put real early pressure on stuff, and also these strats give you lots of ability to slingshot to far-flung objectives, turn 4 or 5 to swing a game.
exactly. And there's a combo here. So like you can you hit the auto advance 18, and then you have assault, so you're eligible to shoot, and then you 1 CP advance and charge, so you maybe go another 12 inches. So now you're at 30 inches.
And then you pop off
and
it.
and then if you don't kill your target, or you do, or whatever, you can just use opportunistic raiders if you still have any CP left at the end of this, and then you can move another 12 inches. so your chaos biker unit can move like 40 42 plus
Well,
inches.
actually, the bikes still move 14?
12.
No, 12. All right.
So yeah, the movement shenanigans here is very good. This is like it's Red Corsairs. It's almost, there's so many movement tricks here. It's like Eldar-esque, and then it has the damage. It has the armor of contempt and the damage and the precision as well. So it's like, this is just kind of everything you want out of chaos. It's very, very strong.
Yeah, I really like. So yeah, so far that's the best thing I've seen.
Yeah, this is the complete package of stratagems, and it's like, this also reminds me of Gladius, where it's like it's six good stratagems.
Yeah. All right, next up we got Dread Talons. This is Night Lords. So they have Terror Descends. It's an aura for their detachment rule. In the battle shock step of your opponent's command phase, if an enemy unit that is below its starting strength is within 12 of one or more heritage strategies from your army, they must take a battle shock test. Each time any unit within 12 of one or more heritage strategies units from your army takes a battle shock test, subtract 1 from the result. Units affected by this detachment rule do not need to take any other battle shock tests in the same phase. So you can make units that have lost any models take a battle shock at -1
Hmm.
in your
That's right.
opponent's command phase. So this could stop them holding objectives, stop them doing stratagem, this could be really strong if somebody starts failing a couple
Yeah,
battle shocks.
it's on their turn. It happens on their turn, so it has the potential to affect like their primary scoring and
That's what I'm
stuff like
saying.
that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it good. Normally, that kind of stuff happens on your turn. The fact that it could cause them to not hold some primaries.
Yeah, and this is actually, it's also copy pasted, I think, from Chaos Knights. I think Chaos Knights have this army or detachment rule as well.
Mm.
So it's basically the same sort of thing.
But they
And
don't
then
have as many models. It's always hard for them to be as many places as these guys.
that's true. And this also, I believe, works off like cultists and stuff. So like, it's just anything in your army. So
Yeah,
you have a lot more
you have
models.
deep strikes. You have like all sorts of stuff in Chaos Marines that you don't have in Knights.
Yeah, it is funny too, because it's like you could have a situation where you deep strike a raptor unit or something, and then you fail your charge, but then
Mhm.
they have to test battle shock for some reason, and like
Yeah,
maybe they fail, so it's
you even
funny.
drop in and don't charge. Just like, all right, I'm gonna make. If you can position it where possibly they affect 2 objectives. Like, all right, if you fail one of these, I'm taking a lead on primary.
Right. So something I like about this is Night Lords, of course. So generally all this stuff is going to key off of Battle Shock for the most part.
Hmm.
So things I like and dislike about this. The things I like is the thematic element is there. I think the rules are well written, and it does like what you'd expect from Night Lords. Like, it's scary, it generates Battle
Yeah,
Shock, and then it powers up off Battle Shock. So that's great. Something I don't like about this is that the Battle Shock mechanic is random. Like, you can't auto make someone Battle Shock. They just have to roll
yeah,
2 dice, and then sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. So it does have that. It has that effect where, well, what if they make all their battle shocks? Then like none of my stuff works.
yeah.
So that is a disadvantage of it. Um,
All right, so
so
enhancements, we got
yeah,
Knight's Shroud, Chaos Lord My Lonely, no Terminator. Just gives his unit stealth. That's solid. -1 to hit's never a horrible thing.
yep. Will Breaker, Heretic Stars model of the fight phase. After the bear has made all its attacks, select one enemy unit hit. That unit must take a battle shock. Um, so whatever. It's after, unfortunately. So
It's in the fight phase.
yeah, it's not
I
great.
guess if it was in the opponent's fight phase, it might be useful because if they fail that battle shock, they won't count as holding the objective on your turn, which might help you get primary if you're outnumbered or something. But yeah, this isn't very situational where it'd be worth bringing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good this really is. The
No.
timing is a little bit iffy.
No, I think it's not worth spending points on. If you brought it every once in a while, it would do something cool, but most of the time it'd be
This
wasting
one is
points.
good though. So warp field thrusters,
Hmm.
jump pack chaos lord. At the end of your opponent's turn, if the bear's unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can remove the bear's unit and place it in a strat reserve. So this is specifically
Yep.
raptors. So it's either just the jump lord himself or attached with their unit of raptors. This is good.
Yeah, anytime you can take something off and bring it back, that's just adds so much to your ability to do secondaries and stuff. So yeah, this is real nice.
And you got a little bit of a damage potential here because the raptors can take, I believe, 4 melta-guns, and they have a power fist in there too.
Nice.
So raptors are kind of like a hybrid unit. You have your plasma guns, melta-guns, and then you have like some chain swords and a power fist. So it's like it does a little bit of shooting, a little bit of fighting. The raptors ability, they have 2 abilities I think which also combo nicely with this army.
Hmm.
One of their abilities I think is start of the fight phase. Anything in combat with them, or one unit in combat with them, has to check battle shock, and it's good because it started the fight phase. That's always helpful. Their other ability is, I believe, units within 6 inches that are taking battle shocks have a -1, and I think that's the Raptor ability stacks with the detachment rule. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
So basically -2, and once you reach that -2 level, that's when they actually start failing battle
Oh
shocks.
yeah.
Like it becomes more like a 50-50.
Yep.
So it's just a question of like, do you like Raptors? Do you want to take Raptors? I have Raptors. I don't love them, but maybe in this attachment, this is the Raptor detachment after all. So
Yep. All right. So we got Eater of Dread. Heretic Astartes model only. Start your command phase. If the bear is on the battlefield, roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result for each battle shocked enemy unit that is on the battlefield. On a 5-up, you gain 1 CP.
yeah, not great. Pretty eh.
Yeah, it depends. Unless you really are building into making people take battle shocks. If they fail a couple, now you're getting +1, +2, +3 to that. But you really have to play into the
Yeah,
battle shock.
just CP generation. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then we got some stratagems here. We got Depthless Cruelty. In the fight phase, one Heretic starts infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to fight. Till the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is battle shocked or below half strength, improve the AP by 1. I like that they added below half strength, so it's not only useful on battle shocked units, but basically it plays into the Night Lords taking advantage of scared or weak enemies.
Yeah, and I like, I mean, I like the strategy, like getting like you're working really hard here just to get +1 AP. And this makes me sad because it's like, well, why didn't you just play Renegade Raiders?
Because I don't make you take all these battle shock tests, Nick. Come on, get with it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think this is just really hard to trigger. Um,
Hmm.
then next one is Bloody Example. Fight phase just after a unit from your army destroys a character unit. Each enemy unit within 12 invisible to your unit must take a battle shock test. So, visible, whatever. But it could be a big, like if you have a big Abaddon unit or something,
Yeah.
12 inches could hit a lot of stuff with battle shock. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, making people take battle shock tests on your turn is almost useless. But if you could pop this on the opponent's fight phase and maybe make them fail some that'll carry into your turn, then it helps you hold objectives and it plays into some of your other stuff that triggers off it. But yeah, I think they
Yeah,
went too hard into the everything going off battle shock with this detachment.
they really did, and this is situational, but it's like it's unfortunate that like you have to pay a CP for this because this actually feels like it should be something that's like kind of free.
Yeah.
Um,
This is like if my enemy is failing a bunch of battle shocks, I win this game really well. If they're making them all, I lose because nothing I have works.
yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, maybe battle shock will give you like a secondary or primary lead temporarily, but just units being battle shock doesn't mean they still can't deal damage. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, like you still have to like fight the long fight
Well,
with
and you
CF.
have to be within 12 inches to be making them take this stuff. So if the turn they whiff, if nothing happens, you're just losing units for nothing.
Yeah.
All right, so
Next one
Pitiless
here.
Hunters.
Yeah.
Your shooting phase, one Heretic starts entry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Then the phase, each time a model unit makes an attack that targets a unit that's battle shocked or below half strength, you can reroll the hit and you can reroll the wound. So it's full rerolls, but once again, they have to be battle shocked or below half strength.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Again, this is only shooting phase, so like maybe this works on raptors. Um, but it's
Yeah.
I don't know why. When I first read this, I just assumed that this was a combat ability as well, because rerolling all hits and wounds is very
Hmm.
good. Especially if you like had to work so hard to make them battle shocked, and they find so it's like, well, when they finally you had to buy all these raptors and then use all these stratagems and like take these enhancements, and then maybe at the end of the day they finally got they failed their test and they actually got battle shocked. Well, it's like, well, why doesn't this work in combat after all of that? After all of that, so it's like, I don't know, it's usable, but it's not great.
Yep. All right, so what's up next? Relentless Terror. Your movement phase just after a character starts infantry unit from army falls back. Until the end of the turn, that unit is eligible to declare a charge. So it gives you fallback and charge.
Yep. Yep, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Infantry only, but yeah, raptors like this, warp towns like this, that's actually pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. Screaming Descent, 1 CP reinforcement step of your movement phase. One Heretics Jars jump pack unit, which is your Raptors and your Warp Talons. You can 3-inch deep strike it, but it's not eligible to charge. Then additionally, select one infantry or mounted unit within 6 invisible, and then that unit must take a battle shock test.
Nice.
Really weird. So you can 3-inch deep strike your. I think the combo here is you can 3-inch deep strike your Raptor unit, and then the melta guns will automatically be in range.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the 6-inch aura from the Raptors goes off, I believe, so they'll be at -2.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
this
you
so
lose
this
the
actually,
Raptors. You lose the Raptors after this, but if you do it in the key point, kill something good, and then pop a couple battle shocks, it might be worth it.
right, yeah. So
Drop it in the
this is
middle.
really good because this combos with your thrusters as well, your
Yeah.
that enhancement. So this is good, and it means that your Raptor unit can actually get some damage. Um, and it looks like there's another thing here that's good too. So when you set up your Raptor unit with this ability, the effect happens like right away. So this battle shock, so they're going to set up, and then this battle shock roll will happen,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you do it right, it's going to be at a -2. Um, and then what it'll do is it'll set up the Pediless Hunters. So if they fail that -2 battle shock on the 3-inch deep strike, then like you can get full rerolls, hits and wins on your Melta four Melta
Mm-hmm.
guns. That's probably the best that you can do because Warp Talons aren't getting any benefit out of this because they can't charge. Um,
Yeah. And then next up, we got Merciless Pursuit. Into your opponent's movement phase, one heretic starts infantry unit from your army that's not within engagement range of one or more enemy units. Select one enemy unit that fell back this turn and is within 6 inches of your unit. You can declare a charge as if it were your charge phase. When doing so, you can only select that enemy unit as a target of that charge, and only if it is an eligible target. Note that even if this charge is successful, your unit does not receive any charge bonuses this turn. I kind of like that.
yeah, it looks like, so it has the target enemy that fell back. So that
Mm-hmm.
means if it's like slow stuff, like if it's regular, I guess it would be regular Marines. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're a base to base and you move 6 inches, you would still be within 6.
Well,
So
the unit that charges them doesn't have to be one that was in engagement range with them before.
right, it can be any
So they
infantry.
could move away from your one and get near something else, and you could do this with the other unit.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, so I like this a little bit. This is tricky, but it's also good because it just means if their movement value isn't high enough to actually get them out of combat with you, then you could really just charge. You could charge them on their turn.
Yeah, because I think in
Reactive. It's a reactive charge.
Pariah Nexus you can't really do actions if you're in combat, right?
Correct. And this is also, I like that this works on Legionnaires. This is actually pretty good.
Yeah. Let's say so you could stop people from doing actions, stuff like that. Just get some free movement if on their turn.
Yeah, so falling back, it kind of, it kind of makes it so they would think twice before falling back, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. All right. And next up we got the Fellhammer Siege-Host. What is this supposed to be? Iron Warriors.
Yep, Iron Warriors.
All right. So the detachment rolls Iron Fortitude. Each time a ranged attack targets a Heretic Starters unit from your army, excluding dam units, if the strength characteristic attack is greater than toughness, -1 to wound. Oh, that's good. I've seen that in a lot of armies. That's a pretty good rule, honestly.
It is, but I mean, I dislike that it does nothing for close combat. Um,
Oh, it's only for ranged attacks. Yep. All right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I didn't pick up on
I
that. Yeah. That.
I don't think that this would be overly strong if it was all attacks. And
No.
it does seem a little bit restrictive that it's ranged attacks because it's really only going to benefit you against certain types of armies.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like orcs won't care about this rule at all.
Yeah. Seems bad into a chaos mirror match.
That too, it's especially. I've played against this before, and it's horrendously bad to the point of almost doing nothing in the chaos mirror match.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I play an army, I want to be able to beat the other people that play my army minimum.
That is a good point. I don't know exactly like what this detachment's good at. I have read through it a couple times because I like the Iron Warriors thematically,
Yep.
but this one it probably rates. I'm gonna rate this one probably as one of the worst. Um, if we looking at the enhancements here, um, Bastion Plate, Chaos Lord only once per battle round. When a saving throw is failed for the Bears unit, you can change the damage characteristic to 0. Whatever, not great.
I mean, in a
Um,
Terminator unit or something, that might be okay. Keep Terminators alive.
yeah, it's only on the character, or sorry, it's the whole unit. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it's just not great.
No, it's
Um,
okay. It's not. We've seen way worse, but it's definitely not the strongest one.
no.
Next up, we got Warp Tracer, Heretic Astartes model only. In your shooting phase, after the bearer is shot, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks. So in the phase, that enemy unit cannot have the benefit of cover. Well, that's not bad. So you have one person shoot them, take away their cover, then you can shoot them with the rest of your army.
Yeah, and I don't hate that because it's really easy to get cover in this edition.
Oh, absolutely.
But the issue is that it's like, well, what model? This is just one Heretic Astartes model. So like, what's gonna hold this? And when you look at like the list of stuff that you can put it on, it's like there's no good targets for it.
Demon Prince, they still take the Warp Bolter.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you could have a Demon Prince turning off cover. Um,
And it's any model. Could you put this on like a vehicle or something?
no, it's you can only put enhancements on characters. That's the issue. There's almost no good target for it. I think even the Warpsmith like doesn't have good guns.
Gotcha.
I'm checking right now. Yeah, the Warpsmith gun is only 12 inch, so that's not even valid.
Yeah.
Um, and then on a Demon Prince, I don't know, it just seems like a waste.
Well, can't you sometimes put stuff on like sergeants or something, or no? Is that something I'm
Nah,
remembering?
it's only characters.
Gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, it just depends on if you have one character with a long range gun, you can put on him. But yeah, maybe it's not as good as I thought.
Yeah,
I,
I'm not in love with it. So Ironbound Enmity. Heretic Stars my only. Each time the bearer makes an attack will within range of an engagement marker, add +1 to wound. Um, once again, just not great.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, they have to be within range of an objective to make it trigger.
yeah, you know, may or may not ever happen, and then
Yep.
it's like, yeah, not fantastic.
And Iron Artifice, Heretic Astartes infantry model only. Bears weapons anti-vehicle 4+ and anti-fortification 4+.
Anti-vehicle. So I'm trying to think. Anti-vehicle 4-up is good. It's good. This is good on the Chaos Lord because he has dev wounds.
And it says weapons too, so it's shooting and combat.
Correct. It's all weapons. Yeah, yeah. So this can go on like, I'm trying to think. You could have it on like a Terminator Lord. You really want it. Oh, sorry. This is good on. There's two characters that this is good on. Master of Executions, which has dev wounds and precision. It's also good on. Where is he?
Although I guess precision isn't as important into vehicles.
The regular Chaos Lord just has dev wounds on his weapon, so anti-vehicle 4-up with dev wounds on the Chaos Lord is actually pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
That means that 95-point Chaos Lord can start, or no, sorry, 90 points. He can just start smacking Land Raiders and stuff around. So I like this one is decent.
Yep.
And then it's good because it goes good on the characters that you generally play anyway, which is your Master of Executions and your Chaos Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty decent.
All right, then we got the stratagems. First one is Persistent Assailants. Fight phase, when Heretic Stars unit from your army selected as a target of one or more attacks this phase and has not been selected to fight. To the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll, and if your unit is below half strength, you can reroll the wound roll. So this one triggers off you being below half strength for the second half.
Yeah, it's goofy. It's goofy because if you charge them, like you're basically gonna be at full strength, and then this doesn't do anything.
Yep. Well, you still get full rerolls to hit.
Um,
You just get to reroll the wounds as well if you're below half strength. So if you pop the Dark Pact with full rerolls to hit, that's still worth 1 CP, I think, depending on what you put it on.
oh yeah, but the targeting says like your unit had to have been already selected as a target this phase.
Uh-huh.
So this is like this only works in like ongoing combats.
Oh yeah, yeah. So they have to swing before you.
Yeah, so and it's weird. It's weird to like say in this edition like that like an ongoing combat's gonna happen because people are always like they're always gonna fall back or they're gonna
Well,
kill a target or
you could
you know
also use this if you get charged.
correct. Yeah, so that's good. It's good if you get charged, but getting charged is pretty bad. So
Yeah, but it happens. So having something that helps you when it happens, like especially if you're building a combat heavy army, you're going to get charged.
I think this works on a Lord of Skulls, which is kind of funny. Like it works on any unit.
Any unit, yeah.
Yeah, so that is actually kind of funny because when you go to fight back, like you could use this and then you could like
Oh yeah.
you could pack for sustain. Like having full rerolls to hit is good in CSM. So I mean, this is
And it
the can
triggers at any time, so you could see if they charge in and whiff and leave more of your unit alive than either of you thought. You pop this and kill them back. Like,
right, yeah, because having the full rerolls hits on the crackback is
yeah.
generally pretty good.
And say you
Um,
have a good combat unit and they kill half of it. You give the rest of that unit full reroll to hit and full reroll to wound. They still might do a lot of damage back, depending on what it is.
below half strength. The below half strength I think is very
Well,
situational, but
well, that works on vehicles that are below half wounds,
it does, yeah. So like it would be decent on a Lord of Skulls,
or a demon
or
prince that's below half wound, like anything like that. Like,
yeah,
there's situations where I think this is useful, and it's a battle tactic. So if you got the ability to pop it for free in certain situations,
it's okay. Um,
yep.
the next one is brutal attrition. Fight phase after an enemy unit has selected its targets. One infantry unit from your army, excluding dam, that was selected as one or more of the targeting unit's attacks until the end of the phase. Each time a melee attacks allocated the unit. Um, okay. So after the attacking unit is finished making its attacks, roll 1d6 up to a maximum of 6, and then on a 4 up, the attacking unit suffers a mortal wound. So this is actually good. This is like a reverse grenade. So they fight you, they finish fighting, and then like each until the end of the phase, each melee attack that's allocated, so it's individual attack. So for example, like like an assault intercessor makes 4 attacks.
Yep.
Um, so so it caps at 6 per unit, but each thing that attacked your unit basically gets hit with a grenade, which is an exact copy paste grenade stratagem.
That's pretty
Um,
nice.
so this is cool. It's infantry only. So and then once again you have to like you have to like get hit first. So sometimes can be if you're not durable enough can sometimes be an issue. But I think this is one that'll definitely see use. The grenade strat is known for being good. It's an average of 3 mortal wounds and it could be up to 6.
Hmm.
And then this is also 1 CP and it can affect multiple units. So like if you have it, for example, if you had a unit of Terminators and then someone charges you with 3 things, you could potentially trigger a, a brutal attrition, which is a grenade on each thing
Yep.
after they finish all their fighting. So
Yeah, and
not
then
bad,
and then
not
and
bad.
then you still get to attack back after that.
Correct. Yeah. So this is actually decent.
Yep.
Um,
All right. So then we got Pitiless Cannonade. Your shooting phase, one character starting unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot. To the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes an attack that targets a unit that's below half strength, a successful unmodified hit roll of 5+ scores a critical hit. So you shoot a unit below half strength, you critical hit on 5s, which would pair good into the dark packs. So they have a really tough
yeah.
like Terminator unit, a knight, anything that's really hard to kill, so that even below half strength, it's still going to take a lot of work. You pop your dark pact in this, and it really helps you finish some stuff off.
Yeah. This is situational but good.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot of times generally in 40k, like you're not going to want to pop your strats to kill stuff that's already below half strength. You'd rather use it like against something that's full strength. So unfortunately, the condition is a little bit rough. Um,
Well, that depends. If you have a big unit you're trying to kill that turn. It's got your focus of hatred and everything on it, and you need to finish it this turn. And you put a bunch of stuff into it already. It's below half. Well, you still got to, this helps you make sure you finish off your target.
Well, sure, yeah. But I mean, there's no focus of hatred in this army because this is the
Oh,
Siege
that's
Force.
that's an attachment roll. I keep thinking that's an army roll. Yeah. So they don't have the focus of hatred. So never mind on that.
The next one is point blank destruction, another shooting phase stratagem, which I'm not crazy about here.
Yeah, why do they even give chaos a shooting phase? Nick said.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah, because honestly, like chaos have to work. You have to like work to build your list very specifically, like to have a good shooting phase in chaos, and it's not great. It's just good. It's not Space Marines good. And having these stratagems that like only affect stuff in the shooting phase is not. It's not what chaos is looking for. So what this does is one heretic Astartes unit for your army engagement range of one more enemy units. Until the end of the phase, your units ranged weapons, excluding blast weapons, have the pistol ability.
So honestly, even though this is a shooting phase ability, this is a combat ability.
Sort of, yeah, because you can only use it, or you can use it when you're in combat.
Right, so you can shoot into the combat and then still fight in the fight phase.
This doesn't work on blast weapons. I'm trying to think like what this would be good into. There's things that exist in chaos that are like I'm trying to think like so not blast, not pistol.
Meltas, flamers, like.
Well, it kind of raises the question of like if you're using this, then like how did your unit end up in combat? Like how did your shooting unit end up in combat anyway? Because ideally you would just play it so that never happens.
Well, what if you have a Terminators with combat weapons and Stormbolters?
Well, it's good. It's good on them, but once again, like I mean, Terminators aren't really like they're not really a great unit.
No, they're not good in Chaos.
Yeah, and this I don't know. This strat is a little goofy. I don't think it's not super good. Because keep in mind, it doesn't work on blast. Uh, pistol already has pistol, right? And then vehicles can already shoot into combat.
Yep.
So it's like, well, all the things that you want out of this, it's like, well, you already have it. And
Well,
then
it gives if you do bring a shooting unit, it gives them a little more combat punch, because if they don't get to shoot and they just get to fight, they probably aren't going to do much. But if they can shoot their heavy weapons or whatever first and then fight in combat, they might have a chance of actually doing some damage.
and I'm trying to think what unit I would like this on a lot. I mean, maybe Plague Marines. It would be good on Plague Marines because Plague Marines have those flamethrowers.
Yeah.
That would be pretty decent.
Or what's the heavy weapon team called? The
Oh,
Havocs?
this would be good on rubrics. This is actually very good on rubrics because rubrics have all those flamethrowers. So giving them pistol type is extremely good.
What about Havocs?
Yeah, Havocs don't. They could shoot their heavy weapons in the combat, which would be decent.
Yeah. What are the Obliterators?
Obliterators are they also cannot shoot in a combat, so this would work on Obliterators as well.
And they punch pretty good too, right? So actually, I think that would work real good on Obliterators.
Yeah, because this would let the Obliterators shoot their Melta in combat, which is good. Unfortunately, Obliterators they still kind of do the same thing, but they got two nerfs. You can only have two models per unit now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't have 4 anymore. And then they reduced the Melta range from 24 to 18 now.
Well, if it's a pistol, well, they did that to all Meltas. It's not just
Yeah, that's true. They had a special, like the Blitz in the Index had a special Melta.
Gotcha. So we got Steadfast Determination. Your opponent's shooting phase just after enemy unit select its targets. One Heretic Astartes unit from your army that was selected as a target at one or more enemy attacks. They get a 5-up, feel no pain.
This is good.
Yep.
This is like better than Armor of Contempt.
Because yeah, they don't. This is one of the ones they don't have Armor of Contempt. They get this instead.
Correct. Yeah, this is better than Armor of Contempt, but unfortunately, it's shooting phase only. You can't use this in combat, which I would love to use in combat.
All right, and then we got Siegecraft. Opponent's charge phase. One Heretic Astartes unit from your army. Till the end of the phase, each time an enemy unit select your unit as a target of the charge, subtract 2 from the charge rolls. This is not cumulative with any other negative modifiers. So 1 CP, just give your opponent -2 to charge you.
Yeah, it's really situational.
Yep. But it could be big when it matters.
Yeah, so I would say the two good ones here, like overall, are the the brutal attrition, which is the grenades. The brutal attrition is good, and steadfast determination is good.
Yep.
Um,
And I know you disagree with me, but I really like point blank destruction.
giving them pistol.
Yep.
Who knows? Who
First, it
knows?
depends on how you build your list, but I like that.
This could work on any. It works on any chaos unit in your army, so it has potential.
Yeah, but there's certain ones I think it'll be really good on.
All right.
So then we got the Soulforged Warpack. This is what is this, more like kind of like Dark Mechanicum?
Yeah. So this is the one we were talking about, like the Arcs of Omen or the Cogs. It used to be called Cogs of Astor. You can see they got Astor here. So this is all the demon engines. Specifically, like a lot of the stuff in here only affects demon engines. This one is considered to be pretty strong. Mostly, there's two things in here that combo together that are extremely strong, and then I think there's 2 or 3 good stratagems. So the detachment rule is debt to the Soul Forge. Each time a heretic destroys demon vehicle, which is demon engines only, makes in your army makes a dark pact, it can invoke its contract. If it does, subtract 1 from the leadership test when making dark pact, and then until the end of the phase. In shooting, in the shooting phase, you'll get +1 to wound on everything, and then in the if you pact in the fight phase, it's +2 to the attacks characteristic of all melee weapons on that unit.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, so this is good. +1 to wound in shooting, or +2 to the attack characteristic in fighting is extremely good. To my knowledge, all the demon engines are leadership 6, so that means you need to roll a 7 or higher to not fail the dark pact. Otherwise, you take D3 damage.
Yeah. But it's nice that you get the pact and this other ability.
Right. It's like a super pact. So you get lethal or sustained and +1 to wound.
All right. So then enhancements, we got invigorated mecha tendrils, the warp smith only, 4 inches to the bearer's move characteristic.
Yep. Nothing much to say about that.
Yeah, just move faster. Tempting addendum, heretic Astartes from your auto. Every time a heretic Astartes demon vehicle unit from your army invoked its contract within 3 inches of the bearer. If it suffers 1 or more mortal wounds as a result of the dark pact, add 1 to the number of mortal wounds it suffers. So in this phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll.
This is insane. This is like just blatantly insane. Because you have like it's any demon engine within 3, any phase within range of this character. You're already going to do the dark pact, and then you just get full reroll hits, which is really, really strong.
And you risk taking 1 extra mortal, but full reroll to hits that's triggering either lethal or sustained.
Yeah.
And then you get your +1 to wound or +2 attacks on top of it. Yeah, that's really good, honestly.
Yeah, and there's no limit to the number of times this can happen. It's an aura. It's a 3-inch aura. So 3 inches is not huge, but you got your Forge Fiends. Forge Fiends rerolling hits can be insane. And then if you can factor in Forge Fiends rerolling hits with +1 to wound, multiple Forge Fiends, and then they're gonna have sustained most likely. And then I think there's also a strat in here to increase their AP by 1 for one of them. So yeah, this is auto include. I think it's 35 points, but it's really, really strong.
I don't know why you take this when you can give your guy 4 inches extra movement.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, if you have 4 inches extra movement, like it only helps you die faster.
I know. So I was like, the first one was so bland, and the second one's so good. It was crazy.
This one, ironically, helps you die faster too, because you take D3 +1 on if you fail the pact. But the good thing about this is that if you fail the pact, you still get the benefit. You still get this benefit.
Yep.
So you take damage, sure, but you're popping off. So yeah, this is auto include. This is really important. And then if you play against this, like you might want to try to specifically kill this character. Yeah,
yeah,
it really, because especially considering like Forge Fiends are this is really good on Forge Fiends and those triple ectoplasm, and Forge Fiends are almost 200 points a pop. And then this character is not cheap either. It goes on a Warpsmith. I think it bumps him up to like 100 points or something.
Now I got to go put 3 Eliminator squads and a Vindicator in my list.
To kill the
kill that bastard. Yep.
I think he has lone operative.
That bastard. Yeah, near the vehicles, he probably does.
He's like a tech marine. Yeah. This next one is extremely good too. Forge's Blessing. It's just in your command phase, pick any vehicle within 12 of the character, and then it has for the whole round. It has a 6-up feel no pain.
Nice.
So yeah, this is just really good. As long as you have vehicles, which you will, it's going to be good.
Yeah. Then Soul Harvester, Heretic Stars only. While the bearer is on the battlefield, each time an enemy unit within 12 of the bearer is destroyed, on a 5-up you gain a CP. It's okay.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Probably not going to take that one.
Nope. No, yeah, the other two, you take the middle two.
Yeah, the middle two are extremely good, and the other two are bad. All right, so stratagems.
All right, so we got Desperate Pledge first, your shooting phase or fight phase. There you go, Nick. One that works in both.
There we go. Yeah, this is what you're looking for.
Yeah, one demon vehicle until that has not been selected to shoot or fight. Until the end of the phase, your unit invokes its contract. Each time it makes an attack, improve the AP by 1.
This is
Yeah, so,
this is great. It's really
yeah,
great. Yeah, this is exactly what you want, and I like how it. So it only works on demon engines, but it doesn't have any. This doesn't have any of the stupid like Night Lords restrictions where it was like such a bad example. But that Night Lord one was like they have to be battle shocked and or
mhm.
below half strength or something.
Yep.
It was like so. This has no condition at all. It's basically just you just get the AP. This is great. Um, Keep in mind it has to go on a demon vehicle, which is you can. There's actually another strat right here. This demonic possession is the other one. This is your command phase. You can select any vehicle in your army, excluding demons, and then it until the end of the battle, it permanently gains the demon keyword. So you, the stuff that you would use this on would maybe be like a Vindicator tank or a Predator tank. And then you can kind of get all your other. You can get the +1 to wound and the rerolls to hit and everything going on that like Usually we use on a Vindicator because Vindicators hit really hard with the siege cannon. So I would say Vindicator is probably going to be a good
And that's
selection.
nice that it lasts till the end of the battle.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd really like want to burn CP to use this multiple times, but this attachment, aside from just doing the +1 AP and maybe the Kool-Aid Man is the other strat. Like you don't this detachment doesn't use a lot of CP. It doesn't use as much as the other ones.
All right, then we got the Glut of Souls. It's in your fight phase. One Herrick to start his demon vehicle, excluding Titanic. Until the end of the phase, if your unit invokes its contract, each time it makes an attack that destroys an enemy model, roll 1d6. On a 5-up, your unit regains 1 lost wound after all of its attack has been resolved to a maximum of 6. There, that's a way to buy back some of those wounds if you fail some to your pact.
The heal, yeah, yeah. So you're gonna have consistent healing off the warp smiths. Like I think
Yep.
warp smiths just heal you for D3 or flat 3. But yeah, this is okay. It is a little bit random, but
But that makes the packs a lot better, the fact that unless you're failing a bunch per turn, you're really just healing them back and it doesn't matter too much.
yeah, this is usable. It is usable, and it's good. Like on a if you like sweep your Lord of
Yeah.
Skulls and you're getting like +2 attacks and like
Yeah.
re-rolling hits, it's pretty good. All right, next one is Unstoppable Rampage. I think yeah, this is the copy paste from Chaos Knights. This is really good. Movement phase or your charge phase, 1 CP. Select a vehicle from your army that has not been selected to move or charge until the end phase. Each time your unit makes a normal move, advance, or charge, it can move horizontally through terrain features as if they were not there.
Nice. You
Um,
just warp through terrain, basically.
right, and it's any vehicle. So Lord, your Venom Crawler, your Lord of Skulls, your Predator, your Vindicator. This is
Nice.
extremely good. Could probably you. I don't think you'll have to use this every turn, but if you want to, you could. Especially like move. You could actually like move through. I believe you could move through a wall,
Yeah.
or I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
once per phase, not once per turn. So you could use this in the movement phase to move through a wall, and then you can use it again in the charge phase to charge through a wall as well. So
yeah.
there's like some combos. There's some combos
Yeah, you
there.
just have to make sure you clear the wall by the end of your movement, but
Right.
that's the
Yeah. So
only restriction, really.
yeah, so I think the big targets for this would be like your Mauler Fiend, your Venom
Yeah.
Crawler, um, and then your Lord of Skulls. I think are the big ones.
Yeah. And the next one is Predatory Pursuit. Your opponent's movement phase just after enemy unit ends a normal, advance, or fallback move. One vehicle within 9 inches and not within engagement range. You can make a normal move of up to 6 inches, but end that move as close as possible to the enemy unit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I think about or how I feel
That's
about
okay.
this.
The fact that it limits where you have to go makes it not as useful as the other ones, but
Yeah, there's a lot of situations I can think of where I could use this, but it would in almost every situation like wanting to use these reactive moves involves moving away or hiding. That's
yeah,
the typical like it's the classic like Eldar thing, Phantasm, Fire and Fade. So, but this one specifies that you have to move closer to them, and
yeah.
I just can't think of any way that helps you.
The only
Um,
way it helps is if they move away from you in a direction you wanted to go and you're getting some free movement on their turn.
Right, you're like it's like they didn't know that you could do that, and then you're like suddenly cheesing an objective or something like that.
Yeah.
It's very this is very very situational and
Yep.
probably not super great.
Nope. Very restrictive.
The last one is Feeding Frenzy. Um, 1 CP, your opponent's movement phase when an enemy unit is selected to fall back, excluding monsters and vehicles. 1 demon engine from your army in engagement range until the end of the phase. If they fall back, they must take a desperate escape, and if they're battle shock, that's desperate with -1. So this lets
You
them fall
just,
back, but forces
you,
desperate escape.
yeah, I don't hate that. Especially if they already failed a battle shock, spend 1 CP to give them -1 just to make sure they lose a couple models.
Yeah, so this might be decent in conjunction with like a Forge Fiend or something, or a
Yeah.
Mauler Fiend, something like
Yeah,
that.
like if they're falling back with like Terminator or something, like if they're falling back with like Cultists, you don't waste this. But if they're falling back with a good unit, you got a chance to get a free guy or two out of it.
Yeah, and Mauler Fiends hit pretty hard anyway, so it's like a
Yeah.
lot of things would fall back from a Mauler Fiend if there was an ongoing combat. So this
Yeah.
is it's usable. It's not great, but it's okay.
No, yeah, it's not amazing, but it'll have uses.
So overall, this is actually one of the stronger detachments.
Yeah. So you said
Because
what was the other one? The Renegade Reavers.
yeah, the Renegade Raiders and the Soulforged Warpack are very very strong.
Yeah.
A lot of the power of this though, it's coming from this detachment rule, the tempting addendum, and then the two stratagems here with the extra AP whenever you want is great, and then the
Well, yeah, the fact that it all stacks onto the packs is what makes this really good.
right, yeah. So you're getting a lot of benefits. You're also getting the Warpsmith also gives you +1 to hit. So
Hmm.
if you look at for example, if you have like a Forge Fiend or Lord of Skulls or something like that, you're getting you go ahead and you do your shooting. You're getting reroll all hits, lethal or sustained,
Yeah.
+1 to hit and +1 to wound.
Yep.
And then also if you play Vastor, which you may or may not, he also gives you +1 strength in shooting and combat as well.
Yep. And the downside of the packs is the mortal wounds, but you got Warp Smiths healing you and a strat for extra healing that really negates really the downside of doing it.
Yeah, this is a good army. This is a good army, and I like that they have these. I
Yep.
like generally I like these strats. I don't love the reaction move, but
Yep.
it has its uses.
It'll be an easy army to build. It'll be small model count. There's a bunch of big models and a couple characters. Maybe throw a cultist squad or two in there just to do like actions and stuff. But it really
Yeah,
doesn't take a lot to build this list.
for sure. And I strongly recommend to not play all demon engines, because you quickly run into an issue where you have like too few models on the table, and
Yeah.
chaos needs to like be able to branch out and play kind of a wide game.
Unless we run
Um,
into the knights issue, yeah. But the core of your army is demon engines, and then you throw some trash in there to hold your back
correct.
field and do secondaries.
Correct. I definitely recommend if you play the Soulforged Warpack, I definitely recommend to include stuff that doesn't benefit from any of this crap, which is going to be like your legionnaires, your cultists, and probably warp talons as well. There's a lot of stuff that you just want in here,
Yep.
regardless of whether you get a benefit. Um,
All right.
all
So
right,
next up, we got the Chaos Cult. I'm
the
guessing this is going to be
cultists.
the cultist heavy one. Yep. So their detachment rule is Desperate Devotion. Each time a damned unit from your army with the Dark Pact ability is selected to make a normal or advanced move, or declare a charge, excluding units that arrived from reserve this turn, it can make a Desperate Pact. See below. If it does, until the end of the phase, add 2 inches to the move characteristics of the model in that unit, and add 2 to the charge rolls for that unit. Each time this unit makes a Desperate Pact, it must first take a leadership test. If the test is failed, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds before any effects of the Desperate Pact are resolved. So basically, do this instead of a Dark Pact or in addition to.
Let me see.
So because this is when they're
So
moving, they can
so
still
that
do Dark Pacts when they shoot in a fight, right?
correct. So this is like an extra pact. So it's like a double pact,
All
and
right.
they
So this
but they
only worked on damned units.
yeah yeah
Are
it's
cultists damned?
correct, yeah.
All right.
Cultist mob, accursed cultist, and traitor guardsmen are the 3 damned units.
Gotcha. And
And
Traitor Guardsmen gain battle line in this detachment.
right, yep. So you can take 6 traitor guardsmen.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. It's fine. Like it's good on accursed cultists, I guess. Like if you
Yeah.
want to get into combat, accursed cultists have scout 6 and blood surge now. They gain that. Um, +2 to move and maybe +2 to charge on accursed cultists is fine. Beyond accursed cultists, probably not good at all because like you don't really care about like regular cultists or guards. Traitor guardsmen are kind of like a bad sort of shooting unit. Um, So yeah, this is not. I would say that this is kind of a more fluffy detachment, but like,
Gotcha.
well, looking at some of the rules here, it's unfortunate that you have to like take extra tests for this, like extra leadership tests, because all these damn units have bad leadership. Like I think the best it could ever be is like a 6. So generally, like you are going to start killing a lot of your models.
Well, say in this, every mortal wounds a model, so it's like.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so we got a cultist brand, dark apostle or damned model only. If every model in the bearer's unit, excluding dark disciples, is damned, you can reroll advance and charge rolls. Pretty simple there. Amulet of Tainted Vigor, Dark Apostle model only. In your command phase, you can return up to D3 destroy damn models to a bearer's unit. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, there it is. So they brought that back. Accursed Cultist used to do that every turn before it got nerfed. It used to be every player's turn. It would just bring back D3 models to the AC unit. This is now just a Dark Apostle enhancement, and it's
No.
but it's and now it only works on your turn. So this is good because you can bring back torments and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's like
but
it's not great.
as
It's not
quick
great.
as they're gonna die, D3 isn't really that big.
Yeah, and you could still have a big unit. Like I think an AC unit is like 10 mutants and 6 torments, and then you could add on the dark. Well, in this situation, you have to add the dark apostle, which is +1 to wound. So yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's probably okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, this is going to be a one where you just have mass bodies, and like not any one unit's going to be amazing. You just have lots and lots of crap.
yeah, and you really rely on your cursed cultists to deal damage, like in close combat
Yeah.
for sure.
So we got Incendiary Goad, Dark Apostle or Dam model. Well, the bearer's unit is below its starting strength. Add 1 to the strength characteristics of melee weapons equipped by Dam models in the unit. While it's below half strength, add 1 to the attacks as well. So as long as you've lost at least one model, you get +1 strength in combat.
So basically, think of it as like it's +1 strength on a cursed cultist.
Yeah.
I don't think making your cultist go from strength 3 to strength 4 doesn't really matter. Um, but having this benefit on cursed cultist is pretty good. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely hang out with them.
All right. And then we got Warped Foresight, Dark Apostle or Dan model, 6-inch scout ability to his unit. Or the bearer. So it doesn't give it to his unit, just to him?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how that works. Okay, so basically the way this works is that the accursed cultist unit has scouts built in, but
Okay.
nothing that goes with the AC unit, like none of the things that attach have scout. So this
Yeah.
is what you have to pay for if you want to have the character scout with the
Yep.
one accursed cultist unit.
Absolutely.
So this definitely goes on I would say it goes on a dark apostle for sure. So you definitely take this because you want to get into combat, you want to position, get up the table. So it's good on the dark apostle, yeah.
All right. And then the first stratagem is Chosen for Glory. Your shooting phase or fight phase. One damn unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Your unit can make a Desperate Pact. If it does, until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. And if your unit did not fail the resulting leadership test, when making that pact, you can reroll a wound roll as well. So you can give your unit reroll a hit and possibly reroll a wound if you pass the check while risking the D3 mortals again.
Yeah, this is super good on a cursed cultist again.
Yeah.
Like you can just hit this. Like you can hit this as many times as you want. For as many like charges or cursed cultists that like units that you have, you'll just hit this as many times as you can. This
Yeah,
is good.
this whole detachment seems just to be built around the cursed cultists.
Yeah, and this combos well with the once again rerolls to hit and rerolls to hit combos well with dark pact. So
Yep. So then we got Selfless Demise. Fight phase, just after enemy unit has selected its targets. One damned unit from your army that was selected as a target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks, each time a model unit is destroyed, roll 1d6. On a 6, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound after all of its attacks have been resolved. All right, so a 1
this
in
seems
6
really
chance.
bad.
Unless you got like a 20-man unit and you think they're all going to die, then you're like, well, I'm going to give you a couple mortals back.
Yeah, an issue with this is like so it's like the exploding cultist, but it's
Yeah,
only on a 6.
yeah,
So there's no cap on it, which is funny. But also, if the last let's say that you have like a I don't know maybe 20 cultists plus whatever plus a dark apostle or whatever is
yeah.
attached to it. Um,
You're going to do 3.5
if well
mortal.
if your unit dies, like if your unit completely dies, you can target with this. You can target the character with this. So if they kill like all 20 cultists, your unit's still a damned unit, so you can still target them. but when that last thing dies, then you can't use it anymore.
Well, you use it just after they selected you, before they attack you.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know, but it only does damage based on like each time a model in your unit is destroyed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you'd probably, if they killed your whole 21 models, you'd do like 3.5 mortals back.
yeah, let me look at the timing on this. This is weird timing. Fight phase, and then you're one damned unit, and then you're selected a target. You're selected as a target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks
Mm-hmm.
until the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks. So that's a very strange wording. Until the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks, each time a model in your unit is destroyed. So
Every time you pull a model, they roll a
so
dice.
so that wording seems to imply that it happens regardless of your unit getting wiped out.
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
it's like preemptive damage. It doesn't
Well,
happen after.
because even though we fast roll, technically they'd roll each attack individually.
Yeah, and this also selects up front. So I was wrong. I was wrong of what I said. This actually works retroactively. So even if your
Yes.
unit does get wiped out, you can still use this.
That's what I'm saying,
Um,
because you actually do it before they make any attacks.
yeah, this is the first time I've seen wording like this
Yeah.
on a rule. So it's cool that it works. It's cool that it actually works.
Well, because
So
they know cultists are going to die, so they had to word it that way.
yeah, so good. So this is not bad. It's only fight phase, which is kind of lame, but good. Good on GW for writing it correctly.
Yeah.
um, The next one is Infernal Sacrifice. Fight phase, one damn unit that has not been selected to fight. You can your unit can make a Desperate Pact. If it does, your unit automatically suffers D3 mortal wounds, and then until the end of the phase, +1 attack characteristic to melee weapons. And if your unit did not fail the leadership test off the Desperate Pact, +1 strength as well.
So they take D3 mortals, and they can still take an additional D3 if they fail the test. You could potentially take 2 D3 mortals here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that hurts you. And then does this stack? This stacks with the Chosen for Glory. I think you can use both.
I don't see why you wouldn't be able to.
Oh, but the effect. Hang on. The effect says your unit can make a Desperate Pact, and it may be locked to only one.
Oh, you can only make 1 dex per pack per.
Let me check.
Yeah.
I don't think it says that actually. I don't think it says you can only make 1 Desperate Pact.
No, I don't think so.
So you could technically just start spamming these stratagems to like make lots of packs, and I mean I guess you'll kill yourself and then like power up at the same time.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's kind of a weird army.
Yeah. The next is Crazed Focus. Shooting phase, 1 damn unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Your unit can make a Desperate Pact. If it does, until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, improve the AP by 1. And if your unit did not fail the leadership test, you can improve the strength as well by 1.
This is garbage because the shooting just doesn't exist in this army anymore.
Yeah.
They unfortunately they've changed cultist mob, so they can't have firearms. They don't have auto guns anymore. They only have
wow.
close combats and auto pistols now. So yeah, there's no more. The cultist firearm doesn't exist anymore.
Gotcha. Then we got Reckless Haste. Your charge phase, 1 damn unit. They can advance and charge.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, not bad.
Then Mortal Thralls. Opponent's shooting phase.
Here, this is the one that is not damned. This can affect anything. It's like it's anything. It's 1 Heretic Astartes unit.
Gotcha. So your opponent's shooting phase, just after any unit selected its targets, 1 Heretic Astartes unit from your army. Select as a target or 1 or more of those attacks, and 1 friendly damned unit within 3 inches of your unit, invisible to both your unit and the attacking unit.
Oh.
And 1 friendly. So if there isn't a damned unit, can you pick the other unit? Do you have to have both? Do you have to have a Heretic Astartes and a damned? I'm assuming you could do 2 damned because they have Heretic Astartes as well.
You could do 2 damned, but
if the Heretic Astartes didn't have a damned near them, would they be able to do it?
No, you can't use this unless it has to be visible to the enemy. That's why it's stupid.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't visible to the enemy, what you could do. So basically, what this does is it makes all the attacks, or sorry, all the wounds, all the wound rolls from that would be allocated to the Heretic Astartes unit in that shooting phase.
Oh, this is like the old Brat Shield.
They go to the damned unit instead.
This is what people used to do with Gretchen and Ludas back in like 7th, 8th, ninth
Right,
edition,
but the
something like
the
that.
reason why this sucks though is that like it has to be within 3 inches, which
Uh-huh.
is fine. But then it also like both units to use this, both units have to be visible.
Yep.
So you can put a cultist unit in front of your like let's say you're trying to protect your like Lord of Skulls or something,
Yep.
right? You can put a cultist unit in front, but then what if they just shoot and kill the cultist unit? Then like you can't use this at all. So it's
Yep.
like all that, and it's like they're going to be able to do it because they have line of sight to both. So there's no way to basically there's this is like the anti cheese. There's no way to like make this useful because like it's like, well, do you have bolters? I'm going to shoot you and kill your cultist. Do you have laskins? Well, I'm just going to shoot you and kill your cultist first, and then shoot your big thing anyway.
Yeah, you'd
So
have to take like people used to do with the grots, like layer like 2 units in front of your Lord of the Skull, so they'd have to kill 40 cultists before they got rid of the strat.
yeah, that actually would be kind of funny. So if you had a situation where it was like you're like 3 by 20 cultists, and then you just kind of like you have them you like have conga lines. So let's say you have 3 conga lines like around your Lord of Skulls.
Yeah. You
Sounds
just bring
honestly.
you bring 3 Lord of Skulls, 6 Traitor Guardsmen, 3 regular cultists. You just
Yeah, it sounded really bad. It sounded pretty
That
bad.
sounds stupid.
And you also can't you can only protect one Lord of Skulls, but
Yeah.
I do think like because of this ability being really funny and like actually protecting your Lord of Skulls, because cultists are only 5 points per cultist, right? So if you block 6 damage or something from going into Lord of Skulls, it's like it's very valuable.
But you could
um
use Traitor Guardsmen or regular cultists protect your accursed cultists as you're moving up the table.
yeah, this is also any Heretic Astartes unit.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there's a possible damned unit that had like lone op, because this would be especially good on a damned unit that was lone op, but I don't think that exists.
Yep.
Because that would create the situation where they can't shoot your cultist and you get to use your strat when they try to shoot your Heretic
I
Astartes unit.
got you. Yep.
So yeah, unfortunately it's not there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the cultist. It's whatever. It's the accursed cultist detachment basically. It's like
Yep. It'd be
um
annoying to play against because they'd have so many bodies, but it's not. I don't see a lot of great damage in there. It's just, can you kill them quick enough if they just
yeah.
flood the board?
The funny thing about this is it's like
Your mic's off.
oh yeah. Funny thing about this is like it's not really that bad, but accursed cultists are like they have scout and Blood Surge now, but they lost their OC, they lost the Resurrection, and then I think they went up in points because like they used to be at the start of the index they were really they were too strong,
Yeah.
um, and now
But
they're
if
like they've got nerfed, they've like held their nerfs kind of, and now this attachment doesn't really. I
but
mean,
if you bring the army of all cultists, you better practice on a clock because I'm putting you on it.
yeah, for sure. It's unfortunate. Cultists losing the auto guns is unfortunate. Um,
Yes.
and then it's like a kind of a missed opportunity that this is like damned models only, which doesn't include possessed because I really like possessed and they don't have a good like home in this codex, which for whatever reason. um so
But
speaking of possessed,
as I
I
say,
think
this looked like where they were trying to put them right here.
yeah, no, this is the last one. It's called Pactbound Zealots. This is the translation from Slaves to Darkness, which is the index detachment. So
Ah,
a lot of the rules, actually almost all of this is a copy paste. Yeah, I would say 90% of this is a copy paste from the index.
all right.
They did scale it back a little bit though.
All right. So just want to run through it real quick, just what are the changes, because everybody should really know this one then.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, this is the one that's been out. So the changes generally were small nerfs. So the marks of this is the one with marks of chaos. You can assign your unit Nurgle, Slanesh, Korn, Zinch, or Undivided. So each unit can be assigned, and then that affects your lethal hits in combat, or it affects your lethal or sustained in combat or shooting, respectively, of like what you picked. So
Gotcha.
Undivided is basically reroll ones all the time. Zinch is you can critical hit on fives in shooting. Corn is you critical hit on fives in combat. And it only applies to lethal or sustain. So basically, like Nurgle and Slanesh specialize in sustain, and then Zinch and Corn specialize in lethal.
Gotcha.
Um,
One
this
gets
is
it in
good.
combat, one gets it in shooting.
This is really good, and this used to work in the index. This worked, so even if you fail the Dark Pact, you would still crit on fives. They've changed that. So now if you fail this Dark Pact, which is generally needing a six, then you don't gain the critical on fives anymore.
Gotcha.
You will still get the lethal or sustain, but you won't get the critical if you fail the leadership anymore.
Gotcha. Okay.
With that being said, this ability is still extremely good, and like
Yeah.
being able to critical on fives for sustains is like one of the highest damage things in the army. And I think that if you kind of like run the numbers on it, the damage output from this ability is the highest out of any detachment rule. I think this is even better than the Demon Engine one. Um, because this is every unit in your army, and then you get to like choose your like path, right? Because there's five different there's five different gods that you can choose. So this as a detachment rule is extremely strong. It has not, even though it got nerfed a little bit, it still does the same thing, right? It still does the same amount of damage. Um, so the just running through the enhancements here, all these went down in points. I think they're all like 10 points now. So you got your like Orbs of Unlife does damage on Nurgle guy. Eye of Tzeentch generates CP, but so they made it so all of these are based around leadership now. So like unfortunately, in order to gain the benefit from these enhancements, you have to like pass your leadership. So Eye of Tzeentch, you have to pass it on 8 or more now. Um, Talisman of Burning Blood, the Corn one, you only get the benefit if you pass the leadership. Um, Otherwise, it just does nothing. It like fizzles.
Uh,
Same thing with the Orbs of Unlife, which is just a joke. That's probably, I don't even know if this is worth 5 points. And then the this one's pretty good. The Intoxicating Elixir. It's like 5 up, feel no pain, and then you can if you packed and like pass the leadership, then you can make them take a battle shock at the end of combat. So
nice.
it's whatever. Nothing fancy. I would say the Talisman of Burning Blood, the Corn one, is actually pretty good because it gives you extra attacks and strength, so that's pretty nice. The Slaanesh one is okay. All right, and then looking at so these six these are the same as the index. The only one that has changed is they used to have 2 CP Armor of Contempt, which was a copy paste. That's gone. They've replaced it with Eye of the Gods, which is very strange and like not good, but I'll read it so you guys know what it does. 1 CP fight phase, just after a Heretic Stars character, excluding Damned, Demon Prince, and Epic Heroes, which is all the good stuff, destroys an enemy unit. You can target the character in that unit until the end of the battle. Add +1 move, toughness, wounds, and then add +1 to attack, strength, and damage of their melee weapons. Um, so obviously, like having this like character slayer guy like leveling up would be really good on like Abaddon or a Demon Prince or just like any epic hero, but you can't use it on any of that stuff. You can only use it on generic E characters like a Chaos Lord, and you have to spend CP for it, which is just not great. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's not. This is pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
Um,
But I guess if you do manage to finish a unit off with your character, you have the option of making them better.
yeah, and I liked having the old Armor of Contempt in there too.
Yep.
Because it was a battle tactic, so you could use it for free on the Chaos Lord, which was nice. I played this detachment a lot, and generally all of these would get used. The skin shift one didn't really get used. I'm trying to think if any of this has changed. I think this is all exactly the same. So there's a Eternal Hate is a 4-up fight on death, and if you're Corn, it's a 3-up. This is obviously good. This is actually frustratingly, this is the only fight on death that exists in the whole book, I think, which is very strange. Um, So this is straight copy pasta from the index. Profane Zeal is the same as it was in the index. It got nerfed, so it's Chaos Undivided can reroll wound rolls and shooting your fight. Still good, obviously still strong. Um, Skin Shift is regain command phase, regain 3 lost wounds, so it could prevent you from taking battle shock. You use it before the battle shock step, and then if it's a Tzeentch unit, you can return a model as well. Um, it's fine. I don't know like what Tzeentch unit you would return models to. I think it probably has a good combo with what's it called? Obliterators. Obliterators are I think 85 points per model. So if you have Tzeentch Mark Obliterators, you can bring back 85-point guy plus healing a guy. Um, pretty good. Pretty good on Tzeentch Obliterators, I would say. Um, what else? Torpifying Refrain. They changed the name on this. This is just your unit gets fallback and charge, and if you're Slanesh, you can advance and charge or shoot fallback and charge as well. So it's Slanesh gets to do everything. So this is good. This is good like on your maybe Slanesh mark units, which would be like kind of like the stuff that generates a lot of dice, which would be like your possessed. Possessed are 5 attacks per guy, and then Warp Talons are 4 attacks per guy. Legionnaire, decent on Legionnaires as well. And then the Festering Miasma. This is lone op. So enemy shooting phase, you can lone op one of your units. It's stealth. It's stealth if you're just a regular Space Marine unit, but then if you're Nurgle, it's lone op. It's stealth and lone op within 18. So it's not as good as lone op. It's the nerfed version. I honestly feel like it would be fine to set this back to 12, like every other detachment. I don't know why they had the CSM one still at 18, because I don't know, just nerfs, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. This is pretty good.
All right. So yeah, so there was 8 detachments?
Yeah, there's 8. Yep, that was all 8.
So I'd say, from what we're talking about, I'd say like 4 of them, I think you could play decently competitive. I think Renegade Raiders, we got number 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Renegade's number 1 for sure.
And the next one was
this one's probably number 2, I would say.
You say that one over? That's what I was going to ask you. You have that over Soulforged Warpack?
Yeah, I think so. I think Pactbound is number 2.
All right, so Pactbound number 2, Soulforged Warpack number 3.
Soulforged, yeah.
And then Veteran of the Long War number 4, just because it's just very balanced, and if you're a good player, you can find a way to do stuff with it.
Yeah, Soulforge is okay, or it's not. Veterans is the other one. Yeah,
and all the others seem more fluffy narrative, which if you like to play that way, there's nothing wrong with it. But we tend to try to focus more competitively on this channel. So those are the 4 I'd say. If you saw them at a tournament, most likely they could have a chance of doing well.
Yeah, and a funny thing with it is that if you build, like, I built a lot of lists for this, and I'm gonna actually have to build some meta crawlers now too. But if you a lot of these lists end up building the same way, because you need shooting in the current meta. There's a lot of chaff, and there's a lot of like combat and stuff like that. Well, Chaos love being in combat, but not having shooting is really bad. So like you have to work hard, and you end up, like, across these attachments, you end up using a lot of the same data sheets just to get shooting. So it's like you wind up in a situation where it's like, I need to take Vindicators, or else I don't have shooting, or I need to take Predators, or I don't have shooting. Luckily, the good shooting data sheets are like your Vindicator, your Predator, and your your Venom Crawler. Those are all good. Like, they're as good as they've ever been. So CSM is in a spot where I would say you take a lot of those, and then you take a lot of infantry to do close combat. So the combat infantry is very good too. Legionnaires are in the best spot they've ever been, but we're not really gonna talk about all the data sheets today, because honestly, a lot of them haven't changed. A lot of them stayed the same. So
and maybe we'll do that later this week or next week or something when we have time. Get together and build. Actually, I'll bring up Battle Scribe on the computer and we'll build a list.
Yeah, exactly.
Build a list, or maybe 2 lists. Pick the 2, the Renegade Raiders and the Pactbound Zealots, and have you show people 2 lists you think could perform well in events.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we could do 2. We could do 2 or 3. I'd like to do a Soulforged Warpack as well, because it just illustrates. I don't think Soulforged Warpack has like a lot of variety, because there's a limited amount of demon engines, but the list is good and it has good options. So yeah, Soulforge is interesting.
All right, so we'll try to do that here coming up. We'll come back and build you 3 lists for those 3 top detachments, and we thank you guys for tuning in. If you're still here, go ahead and like and subscribe. We're going to be trying to do a lot more content like this, reviewing the codexes, building lists, giving feedback on how our lists do at tournaments. Speaking of which, we can also do that one day, Nick, if you want to talk about how your Black Templars did at the GT last weekend.
Not great. Nothing new to report there.
Well, we can talk about what went wrong. Would you change the list? Was it list problems, bad matchup? Like, there's a lot to get into in bad days as much as there is in good days.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. There's stuff to look at there. It was more so, I played bad and lost to Eldar.
Gotcha.
So that's more of so what happened. But
I find I learn more when I lose. When I win, I'm like, yeah, I was right. My list is amazing. I'm so good. When I lose, I'm like, I learn stuff more when I lose than when I win.
Yeah, and even though I did really get Eldar hard in that event. I have beat Eldar a couple times as well. So I may be like 2 and 3 against them. So not a great record, but still there's still a game there. So just got to play a little bit of tighter game.
All right. So, well, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you all next time.
Take care, guys. Thanks.